في غزة ورمضان كريم. قرآننا نور وحياة.
She was only 11, but her mission was larger than life. Meet Yaqeen Hammad, Gaza's youngest humanitarian influencer. She took a child's smile to people starving for hope. Her name, Yaqeen, means certainty, and somehow, even in the rubble, she lived up to it. With her little pink notebook tucked beneath her arm and a mismatched pair of sandals on her feet, she walked through streets laced with ash and echoes, handing out biscuits and folded notes that simply read, "You are not forgotten," she had seen more than any child should. The twisted metal of what used to be her school, the smell of burning cloth mingled with jasmine from a neighbor's broken garden, and the toy soldier her brothers that she clutched like a prayer in her pocket. But she kept walking, not because she wasn't afraid, but because she knew the world needed to feel that love can still live in shattered places. And when the sky roared again, and smoke swallowed the horizon, Yaqeen didn't run. She closed her eyes, whispered, "Ya Allah, make me useful," and smiled, because real hope isn't loud. It's a little girl, with dust in her lashes, lighting the dark with nothing but her heart. Born in 2013 in Deir el-Balah, Yaqeen grew up amid rubble but not despair. Her playground was broken stone, her lullaby, the distant hum of drones. But in her eyes there lived something unbreakable. Her Instagram became a window the world didn't know it needed. Each post a heartbeat, each smile a quiet rebellion. She and her brother Mohammed moved like whispers through the ruins, carrying bags heavier than their frames, but lighter than their purpose. Bread, toys, blankets, and hope. She once paused beside a collapsed building, dust curling through the air like ghosts of memories. She picked up a doll with no arms and held it gently, like it still mattered. In her final video, her voice didn't tremble. Her words weren't loud, but they were steel. In spite of the war, in spite of the genocide, we came here to bring joy to the children. She knew joy wouldn't stop the bombs, but maybe, just maybe, it would remind the world that even in Gaza, children dream, children give, and some, like Yaqeen, become light in the longest night. With her bright grin and unbreakable spirit, Yaqeen became a rare source of light, especially for children too young to remember normal life. She wasn't just an influencer, she was their hope, their sister in a shattered world. In the silence after airstrikes, she would gather the little ones, draw hearts in the dust with her finger, and tell stories of skies without smoke, of oceans without blockades, of nights where the stars weren't outshone by flares. She braided a ribbon into her hair every morning, red for courage. Even when her hands trembled, she carried a laugh like a shield. Even when food was scarce, she shared her biscuit in halves. Sometimes she'd pause, just for a moment. As the call to prayer echoed through the broken buildings, she'd close her eyes, press her palm to her chest, and whisper, "Ya Allah, let me be a reason someone believes again." And in that quiet, among the rubble and ruin, she was, not because she was loud, but because she showed them even in war, even in grief, a child's heart could still hold light. But on May 23, 2025, tragedy struck. An Israeli airstrike demolished her family's home in Deir el-Balah. Yaqeen, just 11 years old, was killed beneath the rubble. The sky didn't cry, the world didn't stop, but something sacred went silent when they pulled her tiny body from the wreckage. Her red ribbon was still in her hair, dusted with ash, but tied just right, as if she was still ready to hand out hope. Nearby, they found her pink notebook, pages singed at the edges, the last words written in a shaky hand. "Don't forget us. Please, don't forget the children." The air still carried the scent of smoke and shattered dreams. Her doll missing, and I lay beside her like it refused to leave. In that moment, grief became unbearable. Because Yaqeen was more than a child, she was proof that even in war, love could still rise. And now, she is gone, but her voice, her smile, her courage, they echo in every corner of Gaza, not just as a memory, but as a promise that the light she carried will not be buried with her. Her death sent shockwaves. Al Jazeera's Wal al-Dadu said, "No one is immune." Journalist Hani Abu Risk added, "She had an entrepreneurial spirit, bringing joy to children. For Gaza's children, her loss is personal, because Yaqeen wasn't just a name. They had held her hand, shared her laughter, watched her kneel in the dirt to tie a little boy's broken shoe. She belonged to them, and now, a piece of them is missing. In the aftermath, silence fell over the shelter where she used to sing. A single crayon heart remained on the wall drawn by her the week before. Still bright, still defiant, the children asked, will she come back? And no one had the strength to answer. For the world, her loss is a painful reminder that bombs don't just crush buildings. They crush stories still being written, dreams still unfolding, hearts still learning how to beat. But somewhere, beneath the dust and sorrow, a voice still echoes. Soft, stubborn, and full of light, Yaqeen may be gone, but her legacy is not silence. It is the scream in the soul of the world, demanding that we see, that we feel, that we never forget. Yaqeen's story demands action. She showed us that even in terror, humanity can thrive. So let her voice live on. Let it rise from the dust of Deir el-Bala, carried by the wind that once played in her hair, echoed in the laughter she gifted to children who had forgotten how to laugh. She wasn't just a victim, she was a vision of what could still bloom in a land scorched by sorrow, of what a single heart can do, even when the world looks away. Remember the way she held that doll with no arms, as if love alone could mend it. Remember the words in her notebook, please don't forget us. Now it's our turn to hold her memory like she held others, to become the hands she no longer has, the voice she no longer speaks with, the hope she refused to surrender. Share her story, follow her legacy, bring her smile back to Gaza's children, not as a shadow, but as a promise, because Yaqeen didn't die to be mourned. She lived to be remembered and carried forward. Follow this channel for true stories of courage in the darkest places. These aren't just statistics, there are children like Yaqeen, whose laughter once echoed through alleys lined with rubble, who dreamed of peace while tracing stars through broken ceilings, who carried blankets through checkpoints and smiles through fear. Their faces are not numbers. Their names are not headlines. They are bedtime songs cut short. They are backpacks left at the foot of collapsed stairs. They are tiny sandals covered in dust, still warm, still waiting. And behind every image is a mother who still sets a place at the table, a father who can no longer kiss goodnight, a sibling clutching a toy that no longer squeaks, but in their silence, there is still a whisper of hope, fragile, flickering, but alive. So listen, not with your ears, but with your heart, because when we remember them, truly remember them, we breathe life into stories the world tried to bury, not statistics, not distant, ours, our children.